What's up again, everybody? I'm Clayton. Welcome to the pack. So today we're going to be talking about Bride of Chucky. What's going on, everybody? Hope you're doing well. We're still walking through our Child's Play franchise review series. Done the first three. That brings us now to Bride of Chucky, which is kind of the dawn of a new era in Child's Play. We've kind of departed now from the Chucky pursuing Andy storyline, and we've now gone off into a different direction that is also entertaining and has its moments, but is it as good? That's what we're gonna talk about today. Before I get into this review, I just want to remind everybody, while you're here, go ahead and hit that like button and subscribe if you haven't already. It does help out the channel quite a bit, so yeah, do that while you're here. And just as a reminder, disclaimer, guys, this is just my opinion on this movie, so there's no need to be upset or offended by anything I have to say. Let me know your thoughts of this movie in the comment section. All I ask that you be respectful and we can have a good time. And with that being said, let's start rocking. So, Bride of Chucky, directed by Ronnie Yu, released in 1998, and it stars the great Brad Dourif coming back voicing Chucky. We get Jennifer Tilly coming in playing a new character, Tiffany, and our protagonists here are played by Katherine Heigl playing Jade, and Nix DeBeal, I think is how you pronounce that, playing Jesse. And then we get the late great John Ritter playing Chief Warren. R.I.P. to John. So getting into positives, negatives here. I hadn't seen Bride of Chucky in a number of years, so it'd been a while since I had seen this film, and I wasn't sure what my opinion on this movie was going to be. I wasn't sure if it was going to hold up, if I was still going to like it, if I wasn't going to like it. And after watching it, I don't feel like my opinion on this movie has really changed much. I think that if you were to ask me after the last time I saw this and since then, like what my thoughts were on it, I think it's probably about the same as what I'm going to give now. So, yeah, I don't really feel like my opinion on this one has changed much over the years. But getting into the things that I like about Bride of Chucky, and there are some things that I do like with this movie. One of them is the look of Chucky. So after Child's Play 3, Chucky needed some surgery. He needed some operations done. He got all hacked up in that little the blade shredder thing at the circus ride at the end of Child's Play 3. And yeah, he wasn't in a very good state physically. So they put him back together again. Actually, it was Jennifer Tilly's character, Tiffany, that actually kind of sews and stitches Chucky back up in this film. And I think it actually kind of gives him a pretty gnarly look, man. I think it gives him, a darker, kind of scarier, sinister look to him. So I do like the stitched up Chucky look in this movie. I do think it makes him look a little darker and a little scarier. And it is a pretty cool look. So the look of Chucky is a positive for me. I do like, again, that we get a good amount of Chucky in this film. We get some good one-liners. We get a really good vocal acting performance by Brad Dourif. As always, the guy's a beast. Never phones it in, and he does a great job bringing, again, a lot of charm and a lot of energy to that Chucky character. This is prime Dourif, really. This is Brad Dourif in his prime as Chucky, and I think that it really kind of stands out. He brings a lot of that in this film. So if you're a fan of Brad Dourif, fan of Brad Dourif's vocal acting, you're gonna like Bride of Chucky, and at least his portrayal and his vocal portrayal of Chucky in this film is on point. So they give you a lot of what you want Chucky to be in this film. A lot of, you know, the one-liners, the dialogue that you want Chucky to say, a lot of the personality of Chucky that you want to see is in this film. So that's a strong positive for me. There's some good kills in this movie. I think my favorite is probably the kill of John Ritter's character, Chief Warren, with the nails through the face. That's pretty savage. That's a pretty savage RIP. And then, you know, they fake you, make you think that he's dead, kind of pops up later in the film, and then gets stabbed a few times to kind of seal the deal on his RIP. But yeah, that's a pretty gnarly kill, man. The nails through the face, ooh, that's a savage kill. Creative as well. I think it was Tiffany that set that one up. So yeah, Tiffany coming in here and getting the favorite kill of the movie. But there are some other good ones. The van explosion, putting the fire in the gas tank and blowing up the bus. That was a creative kill. That was Chucky's. That was a good one, because there's a lot of people around, so it kind of ups the risk and the danger level there. So that one's probably a close second. So a couple pretty good kills. Even Tiffany's death, the way that Chucky kills Tiffany is to, you know, before casting the spell to put her into the doll. That was a pretty cool death. The electrocution in the bathtub death, that was pretty gnarly. That was pretty cool kill. Pretty cool kill, man. Yeah. And then Tiffany's little slave lover guy that I guess they both kind of kill with the pillow suffocation. I don't know why I find that one funny, but every time I watch this movie, I always find that one funny. I don't know why. I'm weird, man. I have a sick sense of humor. But yeah, so some good kills in this one that I enjoyed. They definitely keep that creative ingenuity with the kills, and I enjoy that, man. So some good characters here as well. I thought John Ritter's character of Chief Warren was a good character. I think Ritter brings a lot in his performance as that character. He's kind of like he's a jerk, but he's kind of a likable jerk, kind of like Trent in the Friday the 13th remake. Not quite on Trent's level, but kind of along the lines, same principle. Kind of this jerk character that is likable, and how he plays that role, and almost this kind of charming, witty type of way that actually kind of makes you like that character. So I liked him as a character. I like John Ritter anyways. So yeah, he was good. I do think Jennifer Tilly, her character Tiffany, I think was a good addition to a degree. And I'll talk some about that in the negatives as well, because I do think there's a negative side to her character that I'm not a fan of, but she does bring a lot of energy to the screen. She does have a good screen presence, and I think she does a good job overall playing Tiffany. And she's a strong character. I do think she's a pretty well-written character for the most part. I do think there's some issues there with her character writing as well. But yeah, I do. At this point, we've kind of gone away from giving this franchise really strong protagonist characters, and instead just leaning into giving strong antagonist characters, because the only movie so far that actually had really strong protagonist characters was the first one, the original Child's Play. And then Child's Play 2, they kind of took that away. They only gave us one strong protagonist character being Kyle, and then the third one didn't really have any, and this one doesn't have any either. So they've kind of, it seems like, accepted that at this point, and they're really just leaning into giving you strong antagonist characters, and that's evident with obviously Chucky, and now with Tiffany, and even John Ritter's character, Chief Warren, to a degree, is kind of an antagonist, a strong antagonist character as well. So yeah, but I do like the addition of those characters of Chief Warren, even though he, they kill him off almost as quickly as they introduce him, unfortunately, because I did really like him in this movie. And Tiffany, the addition of Tiffany as well. I also liked kind of the dark gothic tone of this film. It feels dark, man. There's some dark scenes, sleeping with corpses and dead bodies and digging up graves, and just the overall kind of visual aesthetic and style that Ronnie Yu uses in this film, the look of things, kind of the color patterns. It's a dark tone to this film, and I like that. I like keeping horror franchise movies horror. Don't depart from that. When you depart from that, that's when you start losing me. And I do feel like they do still keep the tone of this one dark. And I appreciate that. So I like the pacing. The pacing was pretty good. It goes by pretty quick. It's not a long film. I don't even think it touches the hour and a half mark. I think it's just under an hour and a half. But it moves along pretty good. There's movement all the way through the film, and I enjoyed that. It's good pacing. And then I also, again, liked that we didn't get a bunch of false endings and false finishes at the end of this movie. They kind of finalize the ending. They don't, keep bringing Chucky back over and over and over again. That was an issue that the first two films had. The third one kind of cleaned that up, and then this one also kind of cleaned that up a bit. Didn't reuse that kind of sleight of hand trickery that I'm personally not a fan of. I guess some people do like that because, some people like the endings to those first two, but I'm not one of those people. I don't like a lot of false finishes. I'm okay with one, but after that, I think you start losing the audience when you do that. And this one, thankfully, did not use the false endings. So that was also something that I liked and appreciated with this film. Getting into the negatives here, and there are some negatives for me. One of them has to do with the plot. I don't think that the plot for Chucky here made a whole lot of sense. We're told that Chucky essentially needs to find this amulet off of his corpse in his grave in order to cast the spell to send his spirit into another body, but he's never needed that before. Like he didn't need that in the first one. He didn't need that in the second. He didn't need that in the third. So why all of a sudden does he need that here? It doesn't really make sense, and we're never given a reason as to why he needs the amulet. Well, we're given a reason. We're told that it's in order for him to cast his spirit into another body, but we're never given an explanation or a reason as to why now, why the amulet is becoming a piece of necessity, a plot device now, because it's never been part of the mythos in the past. Like in the first one, it was established that all Chucky needs to do is that he actually needs to find the first person that, I think it was the first person that he revealed himself to, is the person that he needs to find in order to cast a spell into them, his spirit into them, which explains why he was after Andy in the first two. And since he got his new body in the third one, and I guess this makes sense now thinking about it as to why he was after Ronnie in the third film, because that was something that I kind of raised as an issue on my Child's Play 3 review, why Chucky was after Ronnie and not an adult man. But thinking about it now, that actually makes sense why he was after him, because he was the first person that he revealed himself to in that new body. So obviously he would have to be the person that he cast the spirit to. But here, this is still supposed to be connected continuity wise with the first three. So that being the case, he hasn't gotten a new body. He was just stitched up in his old body. So technically he should still have to find Ronnie and cast the spell into him. But he's never needed an amulet in the past. So to me, that plot point didn't really make a whole lot of sense. It's not really coherent with what's already been established in the franchise. So for me, that was kind of an issue. Also, again, I'm going to keep bringing this up until they give me an explanation how Chucky keeps coming back and how Charles Lee Ray's spirit in purgatory or in hell can just come back every single time that this child's play doll, this good guy doll, gets fixed up. So is his spirit just in limbo for several years? Is he in hell? And then as soon as the doll gets fixed up, he gets summoned back? Like, how does he just keep coming back? We're never given a reason, an explanation for that. And I'm going to keep bringing that up as an issue until we are, because that's a big ask from your audience to just buy into that and accept it, when essentially the whole plot depends on how is Chucky back, and we're never given a reason. So yeah, for me, that's an issue, and I'm going to keep bringing that up until one of these movies finally gives me a satisfying answer for that. So also, with the Tiffany character, and this is the negative side to that character, there's a positive and a negative. The negative for me with the Tiffany character is that I do think it kind of takes away from Chucky a bit. It doesn't make Chucky as scary. I think this movie was the first to kind of lean more into the comedic side of Chucky and the narrative, instead of keeping Chucky kind of mean and dark and scary. I think this one starts going more comedic, not full on comedic like we'll get to later on, but more along those lines. And I do think that Tiffany as a character, I felt took away a little bit from Chucky, not fully, but it didn't feel like a Chucky movie anymore. It felt more Chucky and Tiffany, like Batman and Robin. Instead of just having a Batman movie, you now have Batman and Robin, and both are kind of need equal screen time. Or Avengers Civil War, where it's equally Captain America's movie, equally Iron Man's movie. But this one, I want Chucky to be the main character. He's my favorite character in this franchise, so I want him to be the vocal point. But I do think that Tiffany kind of takes away a little bit from developing that Chucky character more and keeping him dark and scary. And so that would be the kind of the negative issue for me with the Tiffany character. I think there was something you could do with that character in her human form, as Jennifer Tilly, as her human form. But I don't think you needed to make her a doll, and I don't think you needed to make her a love interest of Charles Lee Ray. So yeah, to me that was kind of a negative. And then the really with the doll sex scene, every time I watch this movie, I literally laugh out loud during that scene, because it's so stupid in my opinion. Like, it's ridiculous, and I'm sorry, but yeah, to me that's I don't need to see that. It completely takes me out of the film, and yeah, just dumb. I don't think you needed to make Tiffany a doll. Just leave her as the human version of the character and work with that. So that would be a negative for me. Also, again, the really weak protagonist characters here, the guy and his little girlfriend character, I really don't care for either of them. They're both obviously still very young, immature, naive characters. I mean, they're essentially just running off to get married when they obviously don't even trust each other or know each other well enough to know that the other person wouldn't commit murder. And yet they're just going off and getting married. It's just, yeah. I don't really, and they just don't, neither of them I felt had a lot of on-screen presence and charisma. Some people like them, you know, some people love those characters and think that they did have a lot of charisma. I'm not one of those people. I didn't care for them. I didn't invest with them. They didn't really have a clear plot of what they were trying to do that was coming in direct opposition to Chucky and what he was trying to do. So I felt like their plot setup with Chucky was weak, and I thought them as characters were weak, and they just didn't really add anything significant to this film, in my opinion. So yeah, and then again, just leaning a bit into the comedic side of things, I wasn't really a fan. It's fine to have like a Chucky one-liner that's kind of sadistically funny, you know, kind of like Freddy. You know, Freddy has some one-liners in the Nightmare movies that are funny, but he as a character is still very dark, very sadistic and evil. And I felt like there's a way to do that with Chucky without just making him more comedic. So yeah, wasn't me personally not a fan of that. Again, I get some people are, and if you're one of the people that loves the more comedic Chucky, that's totally cool. That's fine. We all have different things that we love about these movies. So, but for me personally, that was a negative and something I prefer the main slasher killer person to be dark, menacing, and scary. And I didn't really get that from Chucky in this movie, other than his look, the stitched up look, which was pretty cool. But yeah, that's it, guys. That's all I got for Bride of Chucky. I'm going to give this film 3 stars. It is a movie that I can watch again and probably will watch again in the future. Not going to be one that, you know, it's not going to be my first choice on the Child's Play franchise. If I'm in the mood for a Chucky film, this is not going to be the first one I grab off the shelf, but it is, again, a 3-star film, a movie I could watch again and enjoy. So there you go, guys. That's it. That's my thoughts on Bride of Chucky. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. And until next time, kick it and rock on.